All right, well, what I'm going to do today, now that I have the deep sump on, is I have my hard lines here. And before I put this into the bus, I need to make 100% sure that there are no leaks because, you know, I flared this myself. Actually, it's my first time flaring stainless steel pipe, and it's incredibly hard. And so the flares were pretty good. I made sure there were no cracks and anything, and I tightened these down pretty good. And I have this here. This is where it's going to come out of the tin. And to get out of the way of this heater box, I have to elbow it up and over to a little mini fuel filter. Then this is going to connect to the what I have under the bus, which is a fuel pump plus a I have a fuel pump and I have a solenoid that's right under the gas tank. So, but this is just an extra one I bought for 10 bucks because I want to see if it holds. And so, first step is just to test. I have this battery here. It's not a car battery, but it's a 12-volt battery. And I'm just going to test that this pump works. So, that's this here, and that's before I actually, you know, put any gas in this guy. Let's just make sure the pump works, which it does. So that's interesting. It's vibrating. So that'll pump 2 to 4 pounds of fuel pressure up into here, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill the bowls. Now that I have the deep sump, I shouldn't have to flip the engine anymore. And let's see what happens. Okay, so in order to do this test, I am literally just taking my 1 gallon fuel tank here, and I'm just taking the top off of this guy, and I'm gonna feed in my fuel line here right into there. Now this goes into the fuel pump and it goes to a fuel filter, so I don't have to worry about if there's any junk in this fuel tank. So I'm just going to feed this in to the bottom. Well, that's not going to work because there's some kind of thing there. So I'm just going to open this up. I just have to be careful not to spill that. So I'm going to put that in there. So now what I'm going to do is, you know, the only danger in doing this is that I have a battery here, so I don't want any fuel to get down here, hit a spark here that's coming from this battery. But I don't think it's should be that bad. So what I'm going to do is just turn on this fuel pump. And it's pumping gas. So what I want to do is just see here. Again, I have all the hard lines. This is definitely pumping. I assume it'll come up from there. Going through here. Oh, see, I'm getting a drip. Look at that. So I'm definitely getting a drip here. It's a good thing I ran this test. Let's see what the pressure is here. So the pressure is between 3 and 6. The pressure is about 3, 4, 5 pounds of pressure. So with 5 pounds of pressure, I have a leak here. No leaks here. No leak here. So that's interesting. I just have a leak right here. So I'm definitely going to examine this flaring job right here because that is no good. All right, good test. All right, continuing on with this. So I lowered this down so that the gas could kind of flow back into there. And then again, the one that I have a problem with, it's leaking, is this one right here. I also got rubber gloves because This gas is probably almost definitely going to get on my hands, and they can mess up your skin and cuticles pretty bad, as I know. So what I'm going to do here, I have a paper towel here. I'm just going to set this here. Probably some gas will come out, and what I need to do is I need to remove this whole U piece because I'm going to have to re-flare it probably, or adjust the flaring. So let's see what happens here. See how much gas actually comes out of this sucker. This one, what is wrong with this flare? That's the question. Not good. And then I've got to just take it off of this, just because I have to probably have to hammer on this this flare. So yes, definitely some gas coming out there. And I'm gonna need some more paper towels. It's all coming out of the straightaway here. I'll just allow that to come out. I'm gonna leave this paper towel here. It's a nasty gasoline covered rag. And then let's take a look at this flare and see what is wrong with it. So here's the flare. And you know, it's not immediately obvious what's wrong with it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it over and re-flare it just by driving the 37-degree sort of wedge onto there again, and then I'm going to kind of sand it down and hit it with the little deburrer. All right, so first step here is, you know, there's obviously something wrong here where it's not sealing. So I'm just gonna like this. And I'm gonna just, the way I've been doing this, and that's probably the reason why it's problematic, is I don't have the $200 flaring tool. I just have this cheapy one, which doesn't really work well with steel tubing. So what I've been doing is I put this in my vise like this. Make sure it's lifted off just a little bit. Tighten this thing down. And then I've just been tapping it with the, let's make sure you can see that. Yeah, so I've just been, if you look really close at this, it's sticking out a little bit from the flaring. And then what I do is just been tapping this thing. So that will just change the shape of this flare a little bit, I'm sure. Oops. All right. You can see I'm no flaring expert. All right, so then take this guy. Okay. Looks like that. You know, there's a little ridge right where the seam is here. There's a little ridge, and that could be what's responsible for this. Well, what I'll do is, you know, I've got a little bit of fine grit sandpaper. I'm just going to go around this. And we're going to retest it. All right, so let's take this guy and reinstall it onto here. Examine this thing. And there's no sealant or anything on there, so I suppose it's possible that there are some little shavings of that metal in there, but you know, I guess I can clean this out just a little bit. Okay, clean that out. So let's see how that fits on there. You know, it appears to be okay. So I'm going to retighten this down. Okay. That all looks good. So now I'm gonna rerun this test. What I do is take this, the gasoline, raise it up so that it actually gets it, and this should all be in there pretty good. Get my battery. And the battery, get the red wire on here, and this wire on here. It's running my fuel again. You can see this thing is vibrating a little bit. So it should be filling the bowls with this gasoline. Come up here, the T is coming up here, and over into here, and it should be filling over to here. Again, this is all going to get vibrated up here because of the running of the motor. So let's just see. And that's where it's going to come from the gas tank. See, it really is a 6 pound, it really is applying about 6 pounds of pressure. So when I get the 6 pounds, I don't see any leaks there. This one has been good the whole time. I don't see any leaks there. No leaks, no leaks. No leaks. No leaks. So I think that's good. I mean, it's very hard to know if, you know, when it's jiggling, if a leak could get created, but I'm just going to go with that for now. Actually, I'm going to go around one more time and just kind of check all the connections that are the way they're going to stay. I'm just going to do just a slight tweaking. That looks good. So from here out, that I'll have to reconnect onto the bus, but those are actually fitting on fitting, so I'm not so worried about that. I'm worried about flare onto fitting. So this all looks good. Just come over to this one. All right, so I just tightened everything down. That was everything down. That is a kind of a permanent fitting connection here. I'm running this thing. If I hold this up, should get me to 6 pounds. Let's not hold it over the battery. Should get me to 6 pounds of pressure when I've got it up like this. Let's watch this pressure. So 3. So, you know, that's the right amount of pressure. It appears that everything holds, but I am very glad that I did this test. So, I can go with the light here. Let's just go with the light. So first, pressure is still at 3. This one, no leak. This, I don't see a leak, but the threads are still a little wet from the leak before, I think. Let's see. Hard to know. This is my chance to do this without major problems. That's the question on these kinds of fittings. Is tighter better, since you're just clamping steel onto what I believe is an aluminum fitting here. You know, the steel is going to be harder than the aluminum. I assume you tighten it down, and it probably makes the aluminum bend or contort a little bit to match up with the steel. But yeah, this all appears good. Let's do one more test with this up. Just make sure that the pressure when I hold this up, the higher up I hold it, see, it's getting 6 pounds of pressure. Sorry, 5 pounds of pressure. And at 5 pounds of pressure, we leave it there for a little bit. Here, no leaks. Here, no leaks. Here, no leaks. No leaks. So I think that we're good. All right, well, that was interesting enough.